The blustering winds at the Pā mirrored the conflict between factions of the church that have seen this year's annual celebrations closed to mōrehu or followers only. The only politicians present were Labour MPs Nanaia Mahuta and Adrian Rurafe, who's also the great-grandson of the founder of the faith, Tahu Pōtiki Wiremu Rātana. The Marae Committee originally said celebrations were to be one day only, but the church executive said that decision is supposed to lie with them, resulting in no manuhiri or guests being invited to the Pā. But the conflict hasn't dampened the spirits of the hundreds of mōrehu who made the annual pilgrimage. Kararaina Parerohi Rahui Te Ira came for the day with her papa.
For those of us that are mōrehu, see, it's different for me because I'm not from the Pā here particularly. We're just one of the many mōrehu out there in Aotearoa. Is to just keep to the whakaaro behind the hāhi, and be pono to that.
There have been a number of wānanga over the weekend to decide the future of the church and for followers to learn about Te Ture Tangata, the political arm of the movement. Jim Turehia Edmonds-Koro was a minister, or apotoro, and so he says the faith has been instilled in him. He attended a wānanga yesterday and says some things need to change.
The policies, or the kawenata, whatever you want to call it, are fine. But they need to be upgraded as we go on. That's my thoughts on it. So what we did in 2020 may not suit 2021.
Official church spokesperson Mita Ririnui says rangatahi were being educated on how the Treaty of Waitangi sits within the teachings of the church. He says that work was carried by the late Eruera Tirikatani.
He founded his scope of fairly on the four corners of the Treaty of Waitangi, and from that time it's always been a focus for Māori members of Parliament. The current round of members are in a very strong position to continue that work. There are a number of acts of Parliament with treaty clauses in them, but there is also the bigger discussion around where the treaty sits in a written constitution.
Mr Ririnui disagrees with the call from the church executive chairman, Harirui Aperahama for Rātana, to reinstate its own political party.
We're a very large movement. We have had a long-standing relationship with the New Zealand Labour Party, and the Labour Party is now in government, and so our focus now, how do we advance that conversation around the Rātana, the mōrehu voice.
The main event was the whakamoemiti or church service at midday, with the band leading the procession of followers into the temple. It's been a quieter year here at Rātana Pā, with fewer mōrehu coming down to the Pā for the annual pilgrimage for their leader Tahu Pōtiki Wiremu Rātana. However, that hasn't stopped these mōrehu for coming to celebrate, and Te Reo Te Māngai, the Rātana Brass Band, are here uplifting spirits. The now confirmed case of COVID-19 has seen a smaller contingent from Omeka in the far north. It didn't stop Rātana band member Jacob Tobin driving down from Te Taitokoro last night with his son for the celebrations.
Well, any time that we can leave the far north and come and see this beautiful temepara behind me, any opportunity to come here and just be in the spirit, we'll take it. So it's very important to me, and hopefully my kids and their kids and so on just carries on. Mōrehu say they're committed to living the teachings preached by their late leader. Jackie Turia was there with her whānau and says it's all about peace and love for her.
Yeah, I absolutely love the maramatanga that this place brings. And for the future, what T.W. Rātana said is to love everybody, to love the God and believe in the God, and that's what I do.
Hutu Mokopuna, Hine Ngākau and Wepeha Webster are part of the next generation of mōrehu. And if the recitation of their prayers is anything to go by, the faith is in good hands. I Rātana Pā, mo te hōtaka o te ahiahi, ko Meriana Johnsen tēnei.